morning everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel once more. Today I've got a really exciting video for you, and it's going to be appeal, I think, to people who have camper vans or camp, and people who want to cook and use electricity to do their cooking and lighting and everything else that they may want to do, charging batteries, whatever. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the Ecoflow Delta 3 Plus extra battery pack that I bought fairly recently. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the pack. This is the you have here the, so that is the Delta 3 Ecoflow Delta 3 Plus, and this is the extra battery. Now they're both quite expensive, but the purpose of this video today is not to tell you much about them, but to show you what they're capable of, and in fact to demonstrate to me what they're capable of, because I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be capable of looking after me for a couple of days while camping in Scotland in the next few weeks, but I have no idea. So what I'm going to do today is do some cooking. I'm going to do the things that I think I'm going to be doing when I'm away. It's very difficult. I'm not going to cook food and waste it. I'm just going to boil water basically and simmer water, but I think it's going to be the same effect pretty much. So I'll tell you roughly what I plan on doing. So I've calculated, basically I've calculated that on a typical day when I'm camping, I'm going to need to boil 7 cupfuls of water in the kettle. That's for tea, coffee, maybe pasta in the evening, things like that, or even, you know, something at lunchtime, I don't know. But roughly about 7 cups. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to cook 3 pieces of toast, but I'm going to eat them. I'm not going to chuck them away. I'll eat the toast. That's going to be equivalent to my breakfast. Lunchtime, I think I'd fancy 3 pieces of toasted fruit loaf with some butter on for lunch, so I'm going to do those. Now, to simulate the evening meal, which obviously I can't cook now, I'm going to use both of my induction hobs, which I'll show you now. So I'm going to use both of these induction hobs with a saucepan on each, boiling and simmering water for half an hour. Okay, I'm also going to turn the fridge on, and here's my fridge. There's my fridge. I'm going to turn that on as well for approximately 6 hours, because I think that's about the minimum time that I would need to use the fridge for. Night times I can turn it off, not too bothered about that really. So that is roughly what I'm going to be doing today. I hope it'll all go well, but it probably won't if I'm doing it. So there you go. So I'm going to connect it up now. I'm going to connect up the appliances to the batteries, to the Ecoflow battery. Oh, my papers are just running away from me. Oh dear. This is all my notes that I need. Put them back there. Right. So I'm going to connect the batteries up to my extension lead that I'm using in the camper van. That's it, like that. And I'll show you what we've got on the actual Ecoflow battery control unit at the moment. I've charged it up to the maximum amount that I can. They recommend 90% maximum charge and 10% minimum discharge left. So that's what I've done. So let's have a look. So we've got 90% on there, if you can see. I'm sure you can. There's nothing plugged in, there's nothing switched on at the moment. So I'm going to start doing my cooking and my jobs, and we'll see how we get on. So stay with me and I'll keep you informed of what's going on. Okay, stay with me and I'm just going to get sorted out now. Start doing some cooking. Okay, so I've got the fridge set to 5 degrees. It's currently 10 degrees. I've just turned it on. So we're starting to use power now. The fridge only is the only thing that's using any power. I'm going to start boiling the kettle, and we'll see how many. I've got to do 7 separate boils of the kettle. I agree, that's what I've sorted out myself, that's what I've worked out myself I need every day approximately. So 7 kettle boilings. I'm going to do those first and get those out of the way, so you don't need to watch that. I'm going to go and get my kettle and I'll make a start. Right, I've put a cupful of water. It's roughly 2/3 full, this kettle. It holds a bit too much for a mug of tea, so I'm not going to waste water and boil water unnecessarily. So I've filled that up now and I'm going to plug it in and we'll get that kettle boiling. It doesn't take all that long really, it's quite a nice little kettle this is. So here's the kettle and I've turned it on. Yep, the blue light is on. So it'll start to take electricity now. Let's just go around the front and see what's happening. I'm not going to show you this again. I'm watching this and the output is 418 watts is being used. That's the kettle and the fridge. So that's the last time you're going to see that now until I've done all my cooking. And once I've done all my cooking, we'll then review exactly how much electricity I've used and whether I've had enough to do what I want to do, and also my conclusions as to what I think of this unit and this idea. Okay, so bear with me and I'll get these kettles rolling in and out. I've just discovered that the way to get this to a point where I want it to is put on FPV mode, which I've done. Now you can see what's in my fridge now. Now don't laugh. There's a bottle of whiskey, which I like cold whiskey. There's some Serene fruit loaf. There's some Lurpak spread, some fruit loaf down there, some spuds and a bit of garlic, and 3 pieces of bread for my lunch. So I'm only out for the day, so that's what's in the fridge. So I don't know whether you can see that under there, but it says it is now 11 degrees in the fridge. So it's gone up because I've had the door open. Anyway, so it's 11 degrees in the fridge. It's going to soon cool down to 5 degrees and then it'll shut off and it won't be using so much electricity then. So let's just leave it. Now the kettle's boiled. I do believe that my first kettle has boiled. Yes, it has. Yep. So it's boiled, so I can throw this away now and start again. So I'm not going to bore you with all of these. I'll come back to you when I've done all 7 of them. Okay, so hang on in there. Just a matter of interest, folks, I'm at a lovely spot here, right on the banks of the River Severn. It's fairly quiet except for the traffic over the other side and the odd 1 or 2 people walking past. But it's a beautiful day. This is like a summer's day. It's not like a day in April. It's the end of April. Yeah, so it's really, really nice, really pleasant. And as you can see, I've got all my gear all sorted out. It's all on display for everybody to see, but you're not going to see the actual battery usage until the end. Okay, here's the back of the unit as a matter of interest. Actually, I never thought to tell you that. So these units, on the back of them, you've got 2 ports there for solar panels, I think, and then the charging port is that one there. You plug another cable in there to charge them up, and they're both synced together. And I think this is a cigarette lighter type port, but I don't really know what it's for. I'm not bothered, no. Don't use cigarette lighter type things. There's also a couple of other little things down there which I can't read. 3 amp max little sockets. No idea what they're for, these things down here, but anyway, there you go. Oh, it's hot. Yeah, so while I'm waiting for the delicious meal to be ready, to be finished, it's about another 3 minutes to go. I've boiled all the kettles. I've had my toast for my lunch, instead of my breakfast. So I'm just waiting for this to finish off now, and then we'll have a look and see what's happened in terms of electricity supply. Right, I'm waiting for the last kettle to boil. It won't be long. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the Ecoflow Delta 3 Plus and the spare battery and the extra battery that I've got. Apparently they're 1024 watt hours each. That is the total capacity, but I noticed when I was charging them up on the first time, they recommend only 90% charge and only discharging, leaving 10% left in the battery before you recharge. So you've basically only got 80% of that to use. So they're both 1024 each. So I haven't calculated what that is, but it's not as much as what it would appear. And they're a Life PO4 battery. I've no idea what that means. And to be honest with you, I don't really know much about electric at all, so I'm not an expert. They've got solar capability. You can plug solar panels into them. I don't know whether there'd be any use in this country, but it might be. They support DC charging via the Ecoflow alternator charger. I presume you can fix something to your car and charge them up as you're going along. 5-year warranty, that's good. Interestingly, the weight of each unit is approximately 12.5 kilograms. And the size of the size of the main unit is 200 by 400 by 400 millimeters. So they're not big. Those two fit in underneath my bed dead easy. So so they, all in all, they're they're quite good units. But I am not convinced that they're going to do the job for what I want. What I'd like to have is the ability to go 2 full days off grid before having to then the third day check into a camping site and charge them up again. But whether I'm going to be able to do that, I don't know. I haven't looked at the results yet. Just waiting for this kettle to boil and then I'll reveal. So in a moment. There is one other thing I wanted to say before I reveal the result of this very, very amateurish trial, but it's pretty realistic, I think. There is one thing I wanted to tell you, is that the app associated with the Ecoflow products is very good. I have no complaints about the app, and I'm going to do a little video in the next few weeks about the app, showing you exactly how it works and what controls you have over the batteries and charging, etc, etc. And it's brilliant, fantastic app. Let's hope that the results that I've got today are going to be what I'm looking for. So the kettle's almost boiled. This is the final kettle, the final piece of the jigsaw. A whole day's usage, I believe it's equivalent to, of electricity for me camping. So it'll be interesting to see what the end result is. Just waiting for it to go off. It'll click off in a minute. There's a little blue light on the bottom. It's a nice little kettle, this is actually. It's going to click off in a minute. So, what is the result? What do we have left in this battery, I wonder? Let's have a look. Oh, it's not too bad, I don't think. Maybe. according to what I hope you can see this on the, you should be able to though. It's 47% left. 47% of the total capacity. So that means I've got 37% remaining to use for the second day of my trip, which is not quite enough. I don't think. It's not really enough, but I'm going to have to make some amendments to the way I use this electricity, I think. One thing that I did think about is if I stay in a campsite on the third day, I could fill up a couple of flasks with boiling hot water, you know, when I'm joined up to the electricity on the campsite, and use those do it on the morning that I leave the campsite, to use those during the day, so that would save some electricity. Also, of course, I'm down to 47%, but I haven't had the fridge on for about 2 hours. But it doesn't use a great deal, so it's probably going to go down to about 40%, I suppose, if I leave it on for 6 hours. If it was a hot day, you'd have to. So you're probably looking at, I mean, I think a realistic figure is 50%. From 90 to 40 is what I'll use in a day, if I use everything the way I have done today. But if I fill flasks up, maybe, and if I get a little gas stove that I could use as a, in an emergency, then I could possibly utilise that. Anyway, it's an interesting exercise. I'm going to put some figures on screen when I make the video, so you'll be able to see the facts and figures. But all in all, not quite the result I was hoping for. If I was honest with you, I think I wish I'd bought the larger battery, because nobody tells you this when you're buying these things. There is a battery that's twice the size, and with the extra battery it's like it's like double what I've got at the moment, which would have been a lot more suitable for me. It may be that I have to sell these, take a little bit of a hit on them, and get the bigger ones, but I don't know yet. I've got to make my mind up now that I've got the results, and it's only just now that I've found out, so we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe. There'll be a video coming out about the app, the Ecoflow app, very shortly, and I will try and make more. If you like this sort of thing, I've got the fridge that I can tell you about, the Alpicol or whatever it's called, and also there's other things I've got in the camper van that might be interested in knowing about. So anyway, thanks for listening and thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.